Dreamers of all ages, welcome to the Dueling Disney podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Andee Zollerman.
And I am the other one of your host, Aldee. How's it going?
Do you want to rephrase who you really are now?
Yes, I am, in fact, Dr. Alfred Earl Day III.
We will now be calling him Dr. Day. So, yeah,
you can call me Dr. Disney.
No, I'm not going that far. We didn't record for a while because we've been a little bit busy, and Al has been busy, in fact, doing that.
That's true. I graduated from both my doctoral program and a motorcycle riding class, both in the last 2 weeks.
And so, which are you more proud about? That's
honestly, the motorcycle riding class. Because if you would have given me a bet 4 years ago, I felt fairly confident of finishing my doctorate.
Yeah,
not the motorcycle class. So
fair.
Yeah.
All right. And school, finally ended. Our last day of school was June 23rd. That was my last day of work at school, and that just lasted forever. So now,
and interestingly enough, you and I have seen each other since the last time we recorded, and we hung out, but we were too lazy to actually record.
I was tired. It wasn't so much lazy. It was just like, God, was I tired after all of this. Everything. I think that day you came over actually was our last student day. And that just was like the most wacky last student day I think I've ever had in my life. So, but that is gone and time to look forward. And so how's your Disney week?
It was cool. I went yesterday. We're recording on the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Yes. Hope you left out hot dogs and root beer for Cats in America last night.
Dude, I did not, because I'm against. I'm sorry, I'm against.
You're against independence.
Happy Colonizer Day. You of all people.
Would you still like to be subject to British rule?
I don't know. Am I going to have universal health care? Because maybe I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, but we'd be required to care about Meghan Markle and all that kind of stuff. And I don't.
No, they're not. They don't.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I went and saw Elemental yesterday.
Yes. What did you think?
I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I love the fact that it's basically a Disney rom-com, a Pixar rom-com.
Yeah.
I know it hasn't been making a ton of money, but when I was watching it, here's something that I thought I'm kind of fascinated by. And, obviously from this podcast, you and everybody else knows how much I love Disney and Pixar animation. And, this one isn't making a lot of money, and people are like, oh, it's a bomb, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you watch these movies, and this one in particular, and visually, it is stunning. It is stunning. Like, you just sit there and you can't believe you're seeing what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think we're sort of spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, right? I'm sitting there watching this movie, and it reminded me a lot of Zootopia in the sense that they created this whole world and really filled it out. And you look in every corner of the screen, and it's like such a rich environment. It's just a beautiful, in the literally beautiful movie. And it had a really good story that really sort of touched on sort of how folks who come from an immigrant background sort of both, sort of are required to assimilate at the same time as maintaining their ties to their heritage, and how complicated that can be. And I thought it was really pretty good. Like I very much enjoyed it. And it's part of a whole thing that I think we enter a world right now where you're supposed to either say something is the best thing you've ever seen or it's crap. And I'm like, is it the best Pixar movie I've ever seen? No, but I enjoyed the 2 hours I sat there and watched it. And I loved the Carl short, so yeah.
Oh, I love the Carl short. That made me so happy. I just that made me so happy. Elemental, I agree with you. I was thoroughly enjoyed as I was watching it. There was and I wanted to love it. I had heard a lot of great things about it beforehand, so I did. I really loved everything about it. But for me, it wasn't one that stuck with me afterwards, meaning that when I saw Coco, which is one of my favorites, Coco stuck with me. I was constantly rethinking about the movie and constantly processing what actually went on. And that also was beautiful in terms of animation.
But part of that is also like different things resonate with us as human beings.
Absolutely.
So like Coco is all about connecting with relatives that are gone, which both
Mm-hmm.
you and I have had that experience. And so, right, like it's such a connection. Like I think of Soul, I really connected with that movie, particularly the
Mm-hmm.
barbershop scene. I don't have the immigrant experience, so while I liked it a lot, I
Right.
think that somebody who had the immigrant experience might also really connect
Yeah.
strongly with it. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the whole thing, the whole message. And even yes, the immigrant message was huge in there, but also was the message to be able to do what your gifts are,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And not just follow where you think you're supposed to go, which
Right.
I did love that part a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought it was excellent. And yeah, the animation was just incredible.
Oh my God, it's such a
So,
beautiful, and like it made me think we have a different topic today, but I really want to maybe do an episode about the most beautiful Disney films, just
ooh,
aesthetically, like the
I
ones that
love
I
that.
just could sit in a theater with the sound off and watch.
I love that. I'm already all the ones are popping in my head.
Yeah,
So
and
that's a great
I'm
one.
like, I think you and I might have the same number one, but I'm just
Oh, I
gonna
do
say
love it.
Ivan Earl and leave it at that. But go on. What about
Uh-huh.
your
Uh-huh.
Disney week?
My Disney week was we purchased for me the
Hey, you're
Hey
married. It's all
Disney.
your money.
I know.
Yeah.
The Hey Disney uh what do I want to say? The Hey Disney feature on the Amazon Echo. So instead of saying,
Oh, cool.
"Hey," I don't want to say it right now because she'll go
It'll
on.
start talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, Alexa. You say, "Hey, Disney," and you ask Disney to like set your alarm, and then like Goofy will respond, or
Yeah.
Donald, or Mickey. And but our favorite thing has been the Disney soundscapes.
Oh,
So you can
interesting.
ask it to play a soundscape, and really what it is kind of the background score or the background music of the film or the attraction, whatever it is. So if you ask it
Oh,
to play
very cool.
Pirates, it'll start playing Pirates music from the very beginning of the plucking of the banjo, at the
Oh,
beginning
that's
of the
super
attraction, and
cool.
then all through it. So you can actually hear like the dog when the dog is over by the jail
I
cell.
mean, you
And
can see my home pods behind me, but those are Siri based, so I'm not
oh,
sure if it would
okay.
do the same thing. But
Okay.
I'm going to try after we record. I'll tell you that much.
Well, it's you pay for it. You don't pay a lot. It's $6 a year, and you really get what you pay for. So
Sure.
I will say
Right.
this. It's a lot of, hey, Disney, do this. And it's like, I didn't get that. I'm sorry. I
Right.
didn't understand. What would you like me to do? So there's a lot of that.
I'm sorry. Who is Mickey Mouse?
But it's fun features, and we definitely play with it and have the background stuff going on. There's Tiana, so Princess and the Frog. There's Frozen, Lion King. I will tell you, I don't know how Gotham will do. Thor does not enjoy Lion King. The monkeys freak him out. He
I bet.
goes bat crap crazy around the house, barking, trying to figure out where are these monkeys and why are they trying to attack us.
And
So,
I would say Gotham is predisposed to being that crap crazy.
oh, that is true. That is true. That is true.
Because his name is Gotham.
Yeah, I got it.
Anyway, go on.
I understood that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's pretty fun. So if you have it, I'd love to know how it's working for you.
And
And
by
if you
that, you
don't,
mean your listeners, because you're looking at me, but
you're right, the
I don't
listeners
have it.
or
I have
everybody on
Google in the
YouTube
living room
who's
and
actually
Siri
watching
keyboard.
us
Yeah.
right now. Anyway, so that's a lot of fun. And yeah, so things that make me happy, which is a good segue into today's topic. I thought about it as I always listen to the Disney, what's it called? It's not called the Disney Channel. It's called something on Sirius XM, but it's all the Disney music, right? So they used to
Yeah.
have the Radio Disney. It's not Radio Disney. It's on
Because every time I go on Radio Disney, I'm like, oh, it'll be Disney music, but it's like kids music, and I'm
yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
not what I wanted to listen to.
Exactly. But this one is Disney songs. And so while I was listening to this, I was thinking about how many Disney songs there are that just like lift my moods. I've recently made on Apple Podcasts, I made a Happy Andee, or not podcast, the playlist, a Happy Andee playlist on Apple Music. And it's just all the songs I need to like get me in a good mood. So I'd start listening to it on the way to school, right? So I'd be happy when I arrived. And so I thought about doing the same thing with Disney. And as I was collecting a bunch of songs that really lift my mood for Disney, and I asked each, we're going to come up with top 5. I really have a lot of songs. So, but I came up with my top 5. And
I came up
so,
with my top 5 coincidentally.
oh, well, that's great. How I want to know though, because what we didn't talk about before were the parameters that you picked
Okay.
your 5. So what was going on in your head as you were picking your 5?
So here's what I was thinking. I was thinking if I picked just 5 songs from Disney movies,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a very boring and traditional list because, as you know, I'm kind of a traditionalist.
Well,
So
mine are Disney movies, but whatever. Okay.
I'm just saying. Um, so, for example, it would be like, okay, when you wish upon a star, dream is a wish your heart make. And I was like, that's interesting, but I think it would make a boring-ish list because they do just make me happy when I hear those.
I
So I
understand.
tried to spread it out a little bit amongst Disney properties ish and amongst
Okay.
parks versus films kind of
Ooh,
thing, right?
nice. Very
Um,
nice.
so that's what I tried to do, just because I thought it would be better to talk about. But the 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 quote unquote 5 happiest would be just boring. It'd be like, a dream is a wish your heart makes. When you wish upon a star, right? Like, it's the traditional ones that make me super happy, right?
Yeah,
But
but that's funny because I didn't like those 2 that you just mentioned. I didn't even have on my list at all, even
mhm,
though they do make me happy. I was so my parameters that I went with were what's going to like lift my mood immediately. And because I had so many, I had my list is what would, if I was listening to it on the radio and in the car and I arrived at my destination, what would I not turn off the car for? Like, what would I leave
mhm,
the car on
yeah,
to finish the rest of the song before I go inside or before I go
okay.
where we're going? So those were my parameters. So I have a ton that would make me happy. Um, and even like a dream is wish your heart. Of course that makes me happy, but that's funny because that's not that's not even where I went. But that's good. That's why we're both.
Well, because I mean, it's where I go, but I don't think it's. I think, I mean, Pinocchio is my favorite classic Disney movie,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and it also is When You Wish Upon a Star, which is like, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
that one.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's just too on the nose, I guess, right? Like
Fair.
it's just too. I had to get over those to really get into the meat of it.
Fair. Fair. Okay. So you want to start with your 5th and go up to the 1st?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
My fifth is it's a little bit of a cheat, but you'll understand why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming because you're going to be at Disneyland here in a couple of days, and I'm going to try to make that trip. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons I really want to make that trip is to see you guys, but also they have at California Adventure just for the summer, Rogers the Musical. Now you and I saw a performance of this when we were at D23. And the cheat is I've actually picked 2 songs that are featured in Rogers the Musical.
Wow.
And one was in the first Captain America, the First Avenger. They're both in the musical, and then the other is Save the City. So Star Spangled Man / Save the City from Rogers the Musical. Because in Star Spangled Man, he punches Hitler, which has always been a dream of mine. And
Mm-hmm.
then Save the City because it was one of the highlights of D23 for me. And I feel so touched to be in the room the first time they did the full production of that song. And now it's featured at Disney California
Yeah.
Adventure in a 45-minute show that I hear is excellent. And so it's the cheat is Star Spangled Man / Save the City from Rogers the Musical.
Nice. 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 My brain didn't even go there, but I am so
I
excited
mean,
to
I was
see
just
it.
grinning from ear to ear when they came out and did that at
Oh my
D23.
God.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Even, yeah, I mean, even the first time I saw it, when I saw it in Hawkeye, I was
Yeah.
laughing so hard.
Oh my god. Well, because it's like the perf for me. It's like I'm a comic book nerd. I'm a
Yeah.
musical theater nerd, right? Like, and the only thing that would make that better is if it was a DC Comics property, right? Like,
Uh,
it's like the height of like something that's like, let's take something and create something that will just make Alfred Earl Day the Third happy.
Doctor.
Dr.
Doctor.
Alfred Earl Day the
Alfred.
Third
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
happy. It would be Save the City.
That is good. Okay, that's a good one. All right, my 5th one actually came from a Muppet movie, and not even
Oh,
the original Muppet movie, which there are definitely songs from that make me happy. but I was trying to go for one that, I don't know. I mean, Rainbow Connection and Moving Right Along are pretty genius from the original. But I did go for the 2011 remake with Jason Segel. I love Life's a Happy Song. I think it is
So good.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And when I hear it on the radio, I mean, I totally sing at the top of my lungs. So I have to finish that one out. Even when I watch it on YouTube, I watched
Yeah.
it on YouTube again just while I was doing this so I could see it as well as hear it. And man, it's so funny. I love
Yeah.
Jason Segel.
I am just really glad that it didn't occur to me to add the Muppets, because the Rainbow Connection would
I
have been maybe
know.
number one. I
I
just love
know.
that. And I sung it in choir in 6th grade. I mean, come on.
It's
But
such a
that is a
great song.
great pick.
But that
And
for
that's
me
such
is
a
more of
good
like a,
movie. And I
oh, I
remember seeing
know.
it in the theaters, and I haven't watched it again, but I remember loving that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did too. We saw it in the theater too. I remember. But for me, that's more of like a, it is totally a happy song. I love it. But it's more of a, for me, it's a contemplative song. Like a,
Right. Well, and it's
yeah,
funny
I don't
because
know.
when you said the songs that make you happy, that also really narrowed it, because I do tend to a more melancholy musical taste. And so
Mm-hmm.
at some point we
Mm-hmm.
should probably do just your favorite melancholy Disney songs, because that
Yeah.
list would be long
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
distinct.
And definitely
Um,
Rainbow Connection would be on there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, definitely. All right. What's number 4?
Speaking of something with a melancholy tinge, but I cannot not like this song. It just means this is a song I'm often, if I'm just walking down the street and you see me humming along, it's probably this song, and it's chim chimney, chim chimney,
Oh,
chim
I did.
chim
That's
cheree.
melancholy. That's exactly what I would think too.
It's a little melancholy, but it's also like the lyrics are very happy. It's about a
Mm-hmm.
sweep is as lucky can be. It's from another. Whenever people ask what my favorite Disney movie, I argue with myself because I'm like, is it Pinocchio? Is it Mary Poppins? Like, I love Mary Poppins. I love Dick Van Dyke. I love the Chimney Sweep song. And of all the songs in that movie, and I love all the songs in that movie, this is the one that just sort of makes me feel good. And partially because it has sort of a melancholy kind of tinge to it, right? Even though the lyrics are very positive, it's just something about that song. Dusk in London on Cherry Tree Lane. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I really like it too. In fact, Supercalifragilistic was on my original list, but I was still like, okay, if I'm
but
in the
that's going a
car, am
bit
I
too
going to
far,
turn off
don't
the
you
car?
think?
Indubitably. Um, okay, this one I love, and I think you had to leave at D23 before seeing it live because your flight was leaving, which I'm sad, and I know that it's getting a lot of pushback,
Mhm.
culturally appropriated and everything. But oh my God, Donny Osmond singing "Make a Man Out of You," I love it. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
love it. And I loved
yeah.
it even before I saw him sing it live. I mean, from Mulan, I love it. And I won't turn off the car if
And
I
it's
got to
Donny
finish out
Osmond
that song.
who would have, from people our age. I
Yeah,
think literally we are the last people who would even know who Donny Osmond is.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, I know, he performs it and he performs it as his concert and people are like, what are you doing? That's cultural appropriation, especially because all his dancers and everything, and he's doing like
Oh
the
yeah,
sword fighting and he's
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
dressed and
yeah. I
I
cannot
get
argue
it.
that it's not,
I know.
and it's a
So
good song. I mean,
if I just look at the movie Mulan, I just want to take
yeah,
it from there. But I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's catchy, and it
yeah.
puts me in a good mood.
Here's the thing. I agree with everything you just said, and there's one that was on and off my list. It's not ultimately on it because I just couldn't justify it to myself. But Zippity Doo almost made an appearance on my list,
I
problematic
mean,
as it is.
that's what I'm saying. Like super problematic, but yeah, how could
But I mean, when I
it's
hear
zippity
Zippity
doo dah?
Doo I smile.
Yep. So that was, yeah, I love it. Every time I hear "Let's get down to business" at the beginning, it's the best. It's like the best intro. Anyway, all right, you're up.
Okay, my next one is, it may largely be because the performer just does such a good job at this, and this is a highlight, and it's the purest expression of just makes me happy. There's no underlying particular logic or reason to it, but it's just a song that makes me happy and a scene that I love. Is Peggy Lee in Lady and the Tramp
Oh,
singing "He's a Tramp." I
that
just love that song. He's a tramp, but I
and I
love him.
love him
Breaks a new heart every day.
every day.
Just such a great
He's a
song.
tramp. Yeah, it is.
Great casting. Like, just perfection animated. Like, just love it. Just makes me smile.
It is a good one. It is a good one. Totally talks about our taste in music too. This is pretty much
Right?
our taste in music in general.
Oh, it really is. It's like jazz from the 60s.
Yeah.
And have you watched the Lady and the Tramp live action that was
No.
on? I never have. I don't know if that song's in there. I've not watched it.
Well, we have a hard time watching animal shows in our house because,
Oh yeah.
as I mentioned, Thor going back crap crazy with the
Oh yeah.
monkeys, and he sees the animals and he freaks out. So we have to
Yeah.
watch
I
our
haven't
animal
watched an
movies
animal
elsewhere.
show. Before I got Gotham, I like a big chunk of my viewing was watching rescued dogs on YouTube because it
Oh
just made
yeah.
me
We
smile.
can't do that either.
And no, can't do it anymore. I have a dog.
Well, and if you look on YouTube, also they're like calming songs for dogs, and so it'll have like the calming song, but then it'll actually show videos
A
of
dog.
dogs. I'm like, this
And
is
then
not
people go
calming for
crazy.
my
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
This is like so anxiety producing. It's not even funny. Oh, poor Thor. Poor Thor. Oh, he went to the vet the other day and they're like, okay, so he's really anxious and he's a bit overweight. And I'm like, okay, so he fits in quite nicely with our family. He's
So
a Zomerman.
it's one of us.
Yes. Oh, dogs, they're just like their people. Okay. All right. Well, okay, my
So
third
your
one.
third. Yeah.
I love it so much. And it's Oodalali
Oh
by
yes.
Alan E. Dale. Yeah, I love
Yes.
it.
I
Robin
just saw
Hood.
a shirt came up on my feed that said Oodalali from Robin Hood recently.
They had, and they didn't have any left in my size, but I think it was a year ago. They actually had a clothing line out. Disney did, and it was like sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and the sweatpants said Oodalali down the side. I wanted it so bad, but didn't have it in my size. So I love Oodalali. Love all the lyrics. So fun. Such a fun movie. I love Robin Hood. I
You know,
do.
it's funny. Robin Hood is a movie that's from that period of time
Mm-hmm.
after Walt died, before The Little Mermaid, where on the whole the movies were of not great quality, but Robin Hood was really good.
Was Robin Hood
Like,
after Walt died?
oh yeah, yeah, because Walt's last animated feature was The Jungle Book.
Oh
So
yeah, you're
Robin Hood came out when we were kids. It was
right.
early 70s.
Yeah,
But
73.
that period where the
Mm-hmm.
aristocrats,
Yep.
I always
Cats.
make
Yep.
that mistake. Folks, this is a Disney podcast. Don't listen, don't, but on a non-Disney podcast, I'll
Yeah.
tell you that joke at some point. Fox and the Hound, all those sort of middle, the
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Cauldron that were of
Yeah.
varying poor quality,
Yeah.
but Robin Hood, I think, was just probably the best of that era.
I do
A
love
lot of
that.
recycled animation, sure, but
Oh my gosh, so much, right? I
yeah,
love it when they do the overlays
yeah.
of the animation.
I think
And so
Robin Hood
that,
was the worst offender. Like,
oh
so much
yeah,
of that movie, even the
was
character
Jungle Book.
designs, right? Was
Yeah.
Jungle Book, right?
Jungle
Like,
and the character design, the character voices. Hello.
yeah,
Phil Harris.
yeah,
You're a bear, Phil. That's
right.
where you'll be.
And speaking of Phil Harris, I'm so surprised that the Jungle Book Phil Harris songs didn't make my list, because that could be just a whole
Yeah.
list of Phil Harris not.
Yeah.
I'm now regretting it, but what are you gonna do?
I don't know. What are you gonna do? But Oodalali, not even sung by Phil Harris, but love it. Very happy song.
Okay, so my number 2 is a more recent addition.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I just yesterday I found on the Shop Disney a Letterman's jacket that features the character that this song is about, that hopefully will be here in the next couple weeks.
Oh, you bought it?
I did. And here there are going to be some people who are so sick of this song, but I don't care, because it's, in modern parlance, a banger. We don't talk about Bruno.
That is my
a
second.
song.
That was my second. There's a Letterman's jacket.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that
And
was
it was on
also my
sale, so I
second.
totally, snagged it.
Okay, can we just talk about the genius of that song?
It's so
I
good.
mean, Lin-Manuel hit it out of the park. If you go to Broadway musicals, it's like the end of the first act, right? Like all the characters like bring in somebody, and just the, oh my god, how everything melds together is beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful, that song.
I am
I love
going to
it.
text you for our listeners and our viewers. I am
Mm-hmm.
about to text Andee the link to this Letterman's jacket,
Okay.
so that she can see it, because I know she's going to want to buy one for herself. But I want everybody on this to know that I bought it first. Um,
I'm the one editing this podcast. I can
I'm just saying
totally edit all of this out.
that it was me who got it.
Oh, it's really awesome. It's really awesome. I enjoy, and Encanto I love. Um I really love, and
Encanto,
that's
like you were talking
another.
about how Coco impacted you. Coco
Yeah,
similarly
yeah.
impacted me, but Encanto really like did me in.
But okay,
Um,
okay.
I mean,
It's
it's Lin Manuel Miranda is obviously a fave, but the music and the two butterflies. Oh
oh
my
yeah.
god!
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just waterworks every
Well,
time
all of it.
I
All I mean, Luis's
like every song
song,
in it.
and yeah, every song in there. In fact, I'm gonna go listen to it after we're done recording because I'm in the middle of listening to that. But We Don't Talk About Bruno was so completely overdone, and I'm still not sick of it. Like Let
Right,
It Go with
right.
Frozen, there was a time where I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't need it anymore. I have not gotten sick of
I'll listen to
We
it
Don't
on a
Talk About
loop.
Bruno.
I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah,
And I don't know if
yeah,
you had a chance to Disney Plus they did the live concert version at
yeah.
the Hollywood Bowl
Hollywood Bowl. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
of all the music, and it was
Mm-hmm.
even better, right? Like, and then
Yeah.
we saw them do it at D23,
Mm-hmm.
which was really cool. Although Stephanie Beatrice wasn't there for
That's
that one;
right.
she was there for the
That's
one at the
right.
Hollywood Bowl. Um,
Yeah.
oh my god, it is a banger! I love. We don't talk about Bruno.
I know. Well, I can't. I mean, that was my second. It was, and I will tell you, it was competing with my first. I
Oh,
had to
really?
really think about what song made me happiest. I don't know. It was a tie
Yeah.
maybe because We Don't Talk About Bruno was definitely there, but yeah, and I totally didn't want to pick out a newer movie one. I was looking for
Right.
like older songs, but come on,
I mean, come on.
knocked it out of the park.
I mean, it's just so good. So
Yeah,
good. And once we
completely.
finish our list, we'll probably have like a half hour of just almost rans, but yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
It's good. All right, well then you have to go with your number one because that was also my number two.
So my number one, I would imagine, even on a podcast full of people who are Disney fans, this is probably a song that most people heard once and didn't think about or never remember. And you know me, so you'll probably know where I'm going with this, but maybe not. Um, when Disney California Adventure opened, I was living in Santa Barbara, I believe. It was early 2000s. And so I was able to come down a lot more than I normally do. And when you come down, Disney California did not Disney's California Adventure did not have a lot of good attractions when it
No,
first opened. A lot of shops,
a lot
ton
of
of shops,
shops.
not a lot of good attractions. So I ended up going to this particular attraction a lot, and I just fell in love with the song that's a part of this attraction.
I know what you're talking about.
California Golden Dreams was the attraction where basically you went into a replica of the Palace of Fine Arts here in San Francisco, and they had a movie that was hosted by Whoopi Goldberg, an interactive theater that was all about the history of California, which I remember thinking I grew up in California, so I knew this history. And if you're from outside of California, I don't know why you care, but I loved it. And at the end of that movie is a song that just like encompasses, and again, a little melancholy, encompasses like everything that Disney is to me. And it sort of aligns with this sort of part of the movie where they just show cool people who forgot a tie to California. And it's called Just One Dream. And I just love it so much. And it makes me so happy. And it is not like a mainstream. Most people never heard this song, but our listeners, I highly encourage you to find it. We don't have like a Spotify thing for the podcast because neither of us is music heads or anything. But
That's
if
true.
I maybe I'll learn to make a Spotify list.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
There would be some learning I would have to go through to do it, but
That's only because
just
we're
one
old.
greeting.
We could give
Yeah,
this to like Emma or Annika and they could whip it out in like 30 seconds.
yeah. Well, they're much smarter than we are
Yeah. And younger.
and younger. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I get that that's your favorite. And it's weird that my
it's
favorite
super
Disney.
personal.
No, I know. I get it. And I guess that's what this my number one is super personal. There's no way that this should be on anybody's number one list, but I tell you, I love it. And it probably is my favorite happy Disney song. I love it for so many personal reasons. And it is Status Quo from High School Musical.
Oh my gosh,
So
really?
yes, I
Now, let's be
love
clear. You and I were well out of high school
it.
when the High School Musical came out.
The girls were very little when High School Musical came out, so I didn't even fall in love with the show until or the song, not even the show. Although I did love the first High School Musical, I can honestly say it still makes me laugh. But the girls were a little bit older, so it had been out for a while when they started watching it. And by a little bit older, I mean they were like 5, right? So it came out when they were toddlers, and then by the time they were 5 and 6, they were watching it on the Disney Channel. And so I love Status Quo because it just is so perfect for all high schools, all the different little cliques and breaking out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do I remember that in high school, but now that I'm on the other side of the school thing where I'm actually watching the children every day, I
Let's
love
be
it.
clear to our listeners, you're employed to do that. You're not just hanging out at schools and watching children.
Oh
Yeah.
God, no, I'm not that. No, trust me, I'm paid to be there to watch the children. This is not something. Yeah, good. I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love Status Quo. I love the song. I love the music. I love everything. I love everything about that song.
It's so funny because I didn't
yeah.
have kids, so it took me a long time to like watch High School Musical, and I think I finally did just because as a Disney completist, I was like, well, everybody's talking about this thing, let me watch it. And then I like really liked it, and I was a little ashamed at how much I liked it.
Well, and the girls, when we went on our year-long road trip in 2007, that was a movie that they watched over and over because that's what kids do. They watch things over and over. And so, I listened to it over and over, but I never got sick of Status Quo. And then the girls did the junior version when they were in theater, and sure enough, I just love it. I love talking about breaking out of the status quo, and it's still so hard. It was hard when we were kids. It's hard when they're kids now. So yeah, I love it. All right. Well, since we both had the same number 2, I'm going to allow, what is your first runner-up? First runner-up that almost made the list but did not.
I would have to go with Bare Necessities.
Oh, okay.
And it's Phil Harris, who's just, if you've not, Phil Harris is just a really cool guy. And honestly, it's Bare Necessities / what's the with oh God, what's his name?
I Want to Be Like You.
I Want to Be Like You.
King Louis with Baloo.
I'm trying to think of the guy who does King Louis' voice. Louis Prima.
Thank you.
Yep. Louis Prima. Which the trajectory was, I listened to Louis Prima in the this was when I was a DJ for and when we were in college. So when I used to DJ, I DJ'd a jazz show from midnight to 4 a.m, and I always would like throw in Disney music. And
I remember.
I put in the Jungle Book, and then I just found a Louis Prima album, and I just played Louis Prima all night one night because I love Louis Prima, and like he's just super cool. And then like one of the songs was "I'm Just a Gigolo," which when we were kids, David Lee Roth redid, and I was like, wow, this version's way better than David Lee Roth. So again, it's a cheat, but Bare Necessities / I Want to Be Like You. I mean, they make me happy, and they also, especially Bare Necessities. Every cover of Bare Necessities is good. Like it's just a core good song. I've not heard a bad version of Bare Necessities.
No, it is good. You dedicate you one day I had to wake up early in the morning. I remember that. And you're like, this one's for Andee. I don't know why I got up at 4 a.m. or whatever it was. And then it was I Want to Be Like You. Or was it Bear? No, it was I Want to Be Like You. I love that
Well,
song.
and it also probably wasn't Ed because we were in college. But
It wasn't Ed at all.
yeah.
No, not at all. I didn't even know Ed existed then. Okay, well, my runner-up that I always want to listen to the whole thing is Phantasmic, and it's
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
So, and it's not on the radio. It's something I would have to be listening to on my own
Well, I
playlist.
used to listen to Phantasmic a lot because it's long when we were training for our 10K. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
in the rotation because I was like, well, this will kill 20 minutes.
Yeah, for real.
But it makes me super happy.
And for me, it's always going to be the original.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make me happy. I mean, yes, the changes, some are good, some aren't, but man, if I don't know that choreography back and forward,
Mm-hmm.
from when it first came out in the 80s. And so that's my runner up. So it almost made it, but
Yeah. I mean, I got so many runner-ups on this list.
I
I
know,
mean,
I know, but
that's sort of what Disney music is, right? It's the music that makes you
yeah,
happy, even the melancholy songs, right?
yeah.
Like I so wanted to put Baby Mine, but I was like, there's no way anybody listens to
That's
Baby
like the
Mine and is
saddest
happy. It's the
song.
saddest song, but I love it so
Oh my
much.
God. Emma will cry every time that's on. Emma's a crier. And
Yeah.
also he'll deny it. So is my husband over here. Yeah, he'll deny it to your face, but it's so true. Those two have the same emotions. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
criers
Yeah.
when it comes to something very sentimental or something like
Hmm.
that. Meanwhile, I'm over here going, what? It's not real. I'm pretty cold hearted. Anyway.
Oh my God. Don't tell people the truth.
Oh, come on. Like they don't know. Like they don't know. Okay. But now we get to ask our dueling Disney community duelists what their favorite happy songs are. What did we miss? What did you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are so crazy you didn't include this. So we want to hear from you. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can just put that right down here in the comments. And if you're just listening to us audio, go ahead and leave that on Facebook, Dueling Disney, Instagram, we're at dueling_Disney, and or leave it on our website at Dueling Disney. There's a bunch of places you can actually tell us. And we would love it if you left a podcast review because that actually helps us get into other people's playlists. So you don't mind doing that, we would love it. Thank you.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. ALF, RED, and her name's Andee. Good night, everybody.